Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this important panel discussion on body shaming. Body shaming refers to the act of criticizing, mocking, or making negative comments about someone's physical appearance, particularly their body size, shape, weight, or other aspects of their physical attributes. And body shaming can take various forms, including derogatory remarks, online bullying, teasing, or even subtle comments that undermine an individual's self-esteem and also body image. And it can have some harmful emotional, psychological, and social effects on the person being targeted. It can contribute to feelings of shame, low self-esteem, anxiety, as well as depression, and even can lead to the development of unhealthy behaviors and attitude towards one's own body. So it is important to promote body positivity and encourage a supportive and inclusive environment where individuals feel accepted and valued regardless of their appearance. So addressing body shaming involves raising awareness, fostering empathy, and promoting respectful dialogue about body image and self acceptance. So today we are here to raise the awareness through this panel discussion, and we have gathered here to shed light on the impact of body shaming on individuals and society, and to explore ways to promote body positivity and acceptance irrespective of what shape, color, size it is. And I urge all of us to engage in an open and empathetic conversation as we discuss one of the sensitive and bold topics, body shaming. So, friends, let us create a safe space where everyone can share their experiences and perspectives without judgment. So, again, it is a pervasive issue that affects people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. And it can have detrimental effects on mental health as well as self esteem. And we have a distinguished panel of experts and individuals who have experienced body shaming firsthand. They will share their insights and stories to help us better understand the issue and discover the ways to combat it. And I'm delighted to introduce our esteemed panelists Sangeeta Siddhanta, Hina Saini, Charu Datta, Shika Gupta, and we were having an offline conversation whether or not to introduce the panelists. And everyone said the topic itself is so sensitive and so bold. Why should we introduce ourselves? People can look up to us on LinkedIn or other social media platforms. So that itself is a great testimony of how our panelists are prepared and they are leading by example. So let us begin by sharing our personal experiences of body shaming and the profound impact it had on our mental well-being. So I would alternate among the four panelists. So for every question, we'll start with one of the panelists and then continue. So for the first question, Sangeeta, I would love from you. Please share your own personal experiences of body shaming and the impact it had on your mental well-being.
Sure, Naveen. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. Hello, everyone. Two things which has really, had an impact in my life is that the first thing, as we all know, that we like to capture our moments, right? So this happened when I was having this 10th standard graduation day, and all of my friends were, very keen to take photos with me, and the feeling of wanted and caring for was wonderful for me. I was so happy that everybody wants to take photo with me. Then after some time I came to know a very close friend of mine told me that Sangeeta, the photo was taken with you because in the photo they wanted to show the larger girl, and in a contrast they will look more slimmer. So
Wow.
that affected me so much that I was totally gone into a shell. I cried a lot, went into depression. That created a trust issues. It went in such an extent that when there was a family gathering, when my father used to call me for a photo, I never went, and they thought I was rude. But nobody means tried to find out that what happened actually. That had a great impact actually, and after that, having taking photos with the friends, families, cousins. I was not at all ready because that was a shock for me. People who were showing that they want to take photo with you, they behaved like this. And the another thing, that when I became a mother and I have given birth to a very beautiful girl, but the thing is that our Indian society thinks that a healthy baby means a fat baby. Yes, my baby is not, my daughter is not fat, like fat as the Indian society thinks. So I have also come across where people told me directly that what, you don't feed your baby all the food you only eat. That is very visible. That means you are not taking care of your daughter. Everything, whatever you're serving her, if she's not eating, you're not putting effort to feed her, you are eating it. So the difference between the mother and the daughter, okay, it was such a big impact that there was a time when I, there was a particular day when I asked my husband to take an off, and we visited three pediatrician, paying 3,200 fees that night. And each doctor told me that please, as a mother, you should be strong. That healthy baby doesn't mean a fat, means a baby has to be fat. And the confidence what doctors gave me, and when I came home, my husband told me that as parents, as mother, we are doing a lot, as mother you are doing a lot, so don't just give an ear what others say. So, I think we should talk about all this, that how it affects. There was no requirement for me to spend 3,200 at that night. Okay, keeping the money aside, the trauma what I went, I thought seriously there is some problem in me and my baby,
Hmm.
because my in-law side, family side, everybody started telling. She was also called as a skeletal.
Oh my God.
Okay, so that
It's
much effect had in me actually.
it's extremely sad to get to know that story. In fact, I don't know how to react, but it is so awful, and I'm sure this might have created some lot of emotional trauma in you. But yeah, let us try to spread awareness around this body shaming topic, and with that, let's move on to Hina to seek her own, to hear her story in terms of how body shaming has impacted you. Hina, please go ahead and share your story.
Thank you, Naveen. First of all, thank you so much for creating this ecosystem and talking about such a sensitive topic. And I'm really sorry to hear that, Sangeeta. All my empathy is with you. I'm sure such incidents are never forgotten. Might be
Yeah.
the people are forgiven, but they leave that imprints in your mind. And it's always recalled every now and then. And I'm sure everybody in the audience and the panel here will agree to it. So my personal story of body shaming was all about, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I was personally not so sensitive about this particular thing, uh, unless you say no, you experience it and then you become m- more mindful of using such things or being towards the people. Cancer brings a lot of changes in a human being body, and especially if you are dealing with breast cancer, a woman has to go through it, in terms of sometimes losing the breast, which happened in my case, and I had to go for reconstruction. And the lymph nodes from the underarms was also removed as a part of complete cleanup, so that
Hmm.
my body is cancer free. But it the side effects of that resulted in a heavier arms, much heavier, which has a swelling for lifelong.
Hmm.
Whatever I do in terms of exercise, I'm a very active person in terms of physical fitness and stuff like that. However, doctor was very clear that please refrain from lifting heavy weights. Normal day-to-day chores is fine, and please be ready of the fact that you would see these heavy arms for lifelong.
Hmm.
So one needs to first get accustomed to that thought. Come in your own acceptance. While I am still thriving to get that acceptance for me, I see that there was sarcasm in terms of the comments coming through across my way, wherein not many people were aware that I have walked through the cancer journey. And then there were people who were loud enough to say, oh, you have got elephant foot like arms. Or during the cancer journey, when one go leave lose the hair, and you end up going in the society for regular stuff and like that, some people opt for wearing wig, some people prefer to go bald. You don't know why a person is bald.
Yeah.
There were set of people I've seen talking, gossiping in the market, in the city center area while I was shopping, and that, you don't tend to just get attracted towards them. It happens by default because they're looking at you, they're gossiping, they're giggling, and they absolutely are unaware that what actually you're going through in your personal life. While you cannot do much about it, but only thing is one need to be little mindful of the fact that you don't know what the battle other person is fighting. So at least please refrain from gossiping or smiling or giggling in front of them, and otherwise also, because it's a circle, and you never know, life can make you walk on that path again. So what best one can do is, if at all your heart says, prompt you to say something, just remember the universe, the almighty, and bless them with whatever they are dealing with, to deal with strength, and just keep your mouth shut and try to put across somewhere else. But yeah, people need to be mindful of before passing any remark or any kind of sarcasm towards anyone.
Absolutely. Again, this is one heart touching incident, and they don't know what has happened in the background, and they just let pass on the comments as if they are entitled to do so. But I think we have to avoid that kind of practice, and let us raise awareness. And as I've been emphasizing on this, and for those of you who have joined the live on LinkedIn and also YouTube. In case if you guys have any comments or if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them. We will take them as we speak to the other panelists. So with that, now let's move on to Charu. Probably you can also please go ahead and share your own personal experience.
Okay. My experiences in this case have been on the other side of the table here, Naveen. So I typically come from a small place wherein taking names or calling something was pretty much used to. In fact, a very vivid memory that I remember that we used to play cricket against a neighboring colony team. It
Mm-hmm.
was led by a kid who had specs, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
because of the specs, that entire team was called Kandil, which in Marathi means a lantern. Somebody
Mm.
with an additional specs, right? And
Yeah.
that was how he was known. And even during the college days, when we were all friends, there was pretty easy for us to call people names. There was somebody who was a very sweet talker and had a specific kind of a construct of his mouth, and he was very easily called a parrot.
Mm.
Okay. And we kept on calling, and this kind of thing kept on happening, and people kept on calling him, and he kept on calling people by all the other names, and that continued for a very long period of time. And then when I came to the industry, also I come from a mechanical core industry background, so many years the things continued in that pattern before I started working at the international companies level, when the whole sensitivities were established, and then probably I learned. And over a period of time, I realized what was happening. One of the most shocking incidents that happened with me when few years back, I
Yeah.
had a very amazing girl. She was part of my team, and we got along very well. And somehow, I was always getting a feeling that she had to gel in. So she was taking her time to settle in, right? And that
Yeah.
usually happens. You are wondering, okay, what's happening? Why the things and there? And then you realize that there is something at the background which is running. And this girl, during her 10th grade, had some infection on her leg. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids around, she was also going through a very tough time at personal level, and at that level, the
Yeah.
kids around her made so much fun of her that
Mm-hmm.
practically her 11th, 12th, and her graduation, she was just not able to come out of it. It took us good 2 months for us to make her feel at home. And beyond that point, then she was just. But this is the first thing when I realized that particularly what happens. And when I learned this incident, and then I also started working on started assessing the same thing with my own daughter. I asked her whether how things really happen, what happens when she's in school and my daughter is just 14, right? And we were just discussing as to what happens, what are the way the things happen in the school. And what I realized today is that the way the ecosystem worked before, right? It's not the way it is moving right now. So my reason of getting into this particular panel that I want to basically come and discuss was to tell people like me who were at that level, who have come from a different background, who thought that at one particular point in time having different way and discussing was fine. But I think that's not the way it's happening today. So this is the time for all of us to get into conversations, open conversations like this, understand the various points, and for us to change.
Did again set of incidents which are actually letting me relive some moments which have come across during my school and during my life so far. And let us also hear from Shika before I share my own story. And also, we have another person, Deepika, who is willing to share her story as well. So, over to you, Shika. Please share your personal experience of how body shaming has impacted you.
Naveen, I thought I'm the only one who's gone through a lot. But when I hear Sangeeta, Hina, and Charu, I don't think so. I'm the one who's gone through a lot. But it's a nightmare. I was a fat child, a plump child, a very happy go lucky person, right? Loved eating, carefree, playful. When you when you when you're at school, right? And you progress from second standard to third to fourth, you gradually realize that people start noticing you, that you're fat, you can't run, you can't participate in sports, you cannot stand on the stage and speak, you cannot participate in any extracurricular activities. Are ye to moti hai, she's fat, or she will not be able to run. There's a fashion show that happens at school, what will she participate? Nothing will fit her, we don't have excel sizes and all that. So as a child, when you keep hearing that all the time, and not that I was a big eater and all that, I just loved eating. And I would eat home food, healthy food, and I had no problem with being overweight. My parents had no problem with being overweight, but my classroom had, my friends had. I had very few friends. Are she can't walk very fast, she's so fat. Not that I was really fat, but all these things affect you so much, right? You're not allowed to participate in games, you're not allowed to participate in any activities, you don't make friends, they don't share food with you. I mean, you basically become a loner. You're this 10-year-old kid, but 11-year-old kid, but you're alone in the classroom because you, and that affects your sleep, that affects your studies, that affects your confidence. And from this happy, playful little girl, you become somebody who's serious, who's silent, and then gradually your parents start noticing that behavior. Yeah, but it's too much of a shock for a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old to go through that, and then you attain puberty, right? And then you go through that pain
Yep.
because you're fat, right? You go through that pain, and then people make fun of you in the class. Oh, she doesn't come to school for 2 days, maybe because she's gone through her monthly stuff and all that. I mean, all this is so detrimental to your well-being, to your mental health. You start lagging behind in studies. So I've gone through all that, but then one fine day I said enough is enough. I am going to take charge of my life, and the journey ahead is very different. But those 5, 6, 7 years, your formative years, yeah? And I had a younger brother who was so fit, so smart, sports person, blah blah blah. You keep getting compared to your own brother. Look at him and look at you. And it's not your parents. For parents, all children are equal. It's your friends, it's your social circle who treats you that way. But then those even sorry, even today when I look back, I mean, whenever I think of my school days, those terrible memories don't leave me unless I decided to change my life for myself. That's about it, Naveen. Sorry, I mean, yeah.
Naveen, you're on
Okay.
mute.
Deepika, can you hear me now? Okay,
Yeah, I can hear
I had a
you.
connection problem in between, and glad that you guys have continued. And Shika, thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts so candidly, similar to other panelists. And it is again so painful to hear all these stories, right? So I think Deepika has volunteered to share her story as well. That's why I brought her to the live.
Yeah.
So Deepika, please go ahead and share your story as well.
Thank you, Naveen, for giving an opportunity. And I would also like to thank Sangeeta, who is a family friend. So I've known her for over 10 years, and I totally relate with what she narrated about her thing. I mean, we've seen her going through it. So I'll not say a story, but then I want to share my experience about the body shaming. Okay, in our Indian culture, especially, I see that it's like we kind of, I think during my school days, it was kind of normalized. I remember calling one of our classmates who was like slightly on the obese side as Dumma. Okay, so this went on for years, and we never realized that what that guy must have been going through. I'm just giving you that, we've been on the giving side, and I've been a lean girl all through my childhood until I conceived. So things changed for me. The tables turned around after I had my delivery and started gaining weight. I mean, that was a point when I started seeing how it feels to be body shamed. I mean, this is something that unconsciously we did during our school, teased a guy calling him Dumma, and just like, I felt like it was so normalized. I mean, nobody made it a point to tell us. Parents never stopped us, teachers never stopped us. Somewhere there has to be a line. I mean, it also comes from your upbringing, what kind of people you are around, what you are taught. It comes down to that, your upbringing. So now, being on the other side, I know how it feels, and we are more sensitive towards others when they have issues. Like Hina rightly pointed out, you never the battles. Everybody has their own battles. We don't know what battle they are fighting with. So, like this is something that I become overly sensitive towards, and I ensure I teach my daughters these values, never to judge anybody by the body type or anything. So I think it all comes down to what you're taught, be it your parents, your teachers. Nobody stopped us when we were kid. It was never a big deal calling someone dumma, fatty. No, I was called hari mirch, sukhi mirch,
Hmm.
because I was skinny. That's also kind of body shaming, but then it never affected us negatively.
Yeah.
So that's about it. I wanted to say. I mean, it also comes down to what we are, what we see around, what is normalized for us.
Yeah.
So parents, teachers, they should be taking this little more sensitively, and
Yeah.
not teach the younger generation. I mean, the younger generation, I see they are actually very sensitive towards these things.
Yeah, we will come there in terms of how can we spread awareness and how
Yeah.
can we change the behavior of people, and it has to start at the root level, right?
Yes,
Probably from the
definitely.
education, right? So thanks for sharing your experience as well, and so boldly, and really appreciate it, Deepika.
No, I have no qualms about. In fact, I have apologized to the guy as well when I connected after years.
Hmm.
I'm like, I felt really sorry and bad about it. But then this guy was very chill about it. He's like, it's okay. It never bothered him because it was normal. You see, it was normalized, and that guy also never took it other way
Right.
because everybody's saying it, and he doesn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
So also, I think it's about us, comes down to us. We are being overly sensitive when it comes to body shaming. Somebody calls me fat now. It's up to me how I take it.
Yeah.
Whether I want to take it negatively or I want to just say, chill, this is none of your business. You're not feeding me.
Yeah.
So somebody tells me now, there are people I meet, like, they've seen me after 10 years, 15 years. They're like, what have you done to yourself? Like, excuse me? I mean, this is something that age does to you. This is something that, lifestyle does to you. It's not, everybody has a different lookout on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I'll bring you back to the panel once again in some time. And
Thank
there
you.
is a question from Nane through LinkedIn, and he's asking, like, is it possible to change the behavior of such culprits? So, does anyone want to take that? How do we deal with? How do we behave? Okay, I think Hina, you raise your hand. Please go ahead.
Sure, Naveen. I think changing the behavior of culprits here, we are not here to solve world hunger or boil the ocean. So instead of taking that responsibility in our hand for changing their behavior, what we should do is change ourselves. I became very mindful when I had to go through that experience. As
Hmm.
very rightly Deepika shared, I would have also done such kind of, like, subconsciously it just comes out, right?
Yeah.
You are sitting in a circle, somebody is making fun of your any of your acquaintances or friend, you tend to join the gang.
Yeah.
And you don't really realize that what are they feeling.
Mm.
Sometimes they also camouflage their emotions and try to just put up a brave smile. But when I have experienced it myself, that people started making fun of my heavy arms, they don't know that I buy two sizes of dresses bigger and then get them altered. That's an added thing what I've got to my schedule now, just because my arm should fit in to the dresses which are available readily in the market, or the
Yeah.
only way around is to get stitched, which is definitely not always possible option. So coming back to the question, instead of changing the behavior of such culprits, let's change our own mindset. Very first thing what I do personally from last 12 years, which is my very conscious habit, if I'm meeting somebody after a good period of time and I
Mm.
haven't seen them organically evolve in terms of their body or features, etc., and suddenly when you see a person, it is normal. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not telling that I have become saint and those thoughts doesn't cross my mind, but it is what is in my control is stop myself from saying it. Please understand that they see themselves more than you see them in the mirror every day. They know what is their shortfalling. They very well are already insecure of those facts. Adding that by you telling them upfront, especially when you're meeting them after a long period of time, as a first statement, oh my God, you have put on so much weight. Oh my God, you have gone so much lean. See, even if somebody has gone lean, not necessary it's because of some exercise or something like that. It
True.
could be some genuine reason behind it, some medical reason behind it,
Yeah.
or they might be going through some stress that they are not able to deal with it. So
Yeah.
please allow those people to get nurtured and nourished in those ways, and don't try to dictate the term by yourself. So
Yeah.
don't take the responsibility of changing such culprits, Nane. I would say here, what we can take the responsibility is changing our own behavior and making sure that we are not doing this mistake.
Yeah.
Yes, Sangeeta, you want to say something?
Go ahead, Sangeeta.
To this, I want to add one thing. As you said, when we meet any person, I think we are forgetting the basic question: how are you?
Hmm.
That is the basic question. I think that changes the whole conversation. You're making the person comfort. Every one of us are having some flaws. It all depends whether we want to showcase it or not. So
Yeah.
I think first we should not indulge in body shaming. First we should, for example, if I'm feeling a little bit fat today, means bloated, I should not tell that I am feeling fat. I should say that my pants are not getting fitted today properly. It's the way how we talk.
Yeah.
It's the way how we talk, how we convey the things. And I would like to tell one thing to Shika. Shika, I can totally relate with your story because I am an educator and I am counseling so many teenagers in my school because of this body shaming. I have seen how the children, they have taken them back into the shell, and they're not ready to come out. To counsel them, to make them understand that love yourself, it's a big task for us, but still
Yeah.
we are doing it. And I'm glad that I'm into this profession where I'm able to, um, advise children that nothing is wrong with you. It's just you love yourself. And I think, the basic question to anyone whenever we meet first should be, how are you? Your smile is so pretty. You look so pretty. I think these should be the things we should use. That's
Yeah.
what, I wanted to add, Naveen.
Yeah.
And
Thank
what
you.
he
Thank.
asked is correct, actually.
Yeah.
We should not comment like that. And
Hmm.
that's what.
Great conversation, guys. And I think it is eye opening, and I'm sure it is adding a lot of value to those who have tuned in. And we have a comment from a person named Hiren Bafna. I think he is watching it on YouTube. And he said, I have a friend who was compared to all of us was fat. He still is, but believe me, he's the best. I never knew these things happen. We had a childhood where we just enjoyed. Yeah, again, I think Hiren has brought in an important point here. We unknowingly do that because we take things for granted and we never cared about what other person is feeling. Right? That is the one of the root causes. And with that, let's it's the time for us to move to the next question. Again, this time we will
Naveen,
start
Naveen,
with
Naveen,
yeah,
last 2 cents.
yeah.
Beautiful,
Please go ahead.
Hina and
Yeah,
Sangeeta. We are all unique creations of God.
indeed.
Able, specially abled, transgender, whatever we are, man, woman, we are beautiful, unique creations of God. We need to respect each other. We need to love each other. We have absolutely no right to demean, defame, or do personal attacks on anyone.
Yeah.
Everybody is living their own life as per their own choices, terms, and conditions. I
Hmm.
am me and I am beautiful.
Yeah.
That's it. You like it? Great. You don't like it? Still great.
Period. I am me. That's it. Period. Wonderful. So here comes the next discussion item. Like, what are some of the root causes of body shaming, and how can we work towards dismantling these harmful beauty standards? Right. So we'll start with Hina first, and then proceed with Charu. So Hina, over to you.
Sure. One of the root cause, what I have also personally found out, I mean, see, my discovery about body shaming happened, Naveen, as I very well said, after I've gone through it. Prior to that, I was absolutely not conscious about it. When it started affecting my own psyche, that's when I realized that this is such a grave topic within our ecosystem, which is often taken for granted. As
Yeah.
very well Sangeeta mentioned that she was not going for the family photographs, but nobody actually made an effort to find out that what is stopping her in. And it is not that her parents didn't wanted to find out, or her parents were not cared about it, but it just doesn't strike anybody that there is only few people in our ecosystem who observe our behavior get changed from one particular, that the, yeah, the needle is getting pivoted and something is wrong, then they make an effort to ask. So one thing why body shaming happen is when the person start feeling insecure. You know,
Hmm.
you become so self-conscious about your own body that if anybody talk badly about it, you, instead of feeling better further, it keeps eating your own mindset. So that is something very important root cause what needs to be addressed by the individual. And trust me, you, nobody can help us. You can
Hmm.
take as a therapeutic help, you can take therapy sessions, you can talk to your near and dear ones who can really soothe that soul, rather than telling you, oh, you are just overthinking and don't, you know, for such topics these kind of advices doesn't help, because the person just want to let vent themselves out. But what can only help, which I have done over the period of 12 years, is your own acceptance of yourself.
Yeah.
If you are in acceptance of however your body is, then come what may, anybody is telling you anything, it should not matter to you. You can have, when they pass that remark or a comment which doesn't go in a healthy stride with your mindset, immediately talk to your mind and say that they don't even know how I have come this far. And
Excellent.
we are not here to really justify this to anybody. Yesterday only I was reading this one of the podcasts, listening to one of the podcasts of Gaur Gopal Das, and he said very beautifully, I think this will go for a long period of time in my mind, किसी को सफाई मत दो, तुम साबुन नहीं हो. So it is very very important that please talk to yourself immediately as soon as somebody remark, and switch your mind for that nanosecond that they don't know, babes, what you have gone through. They
Yeah.
don't know how beautifully you have evolved. So please stick to your ground and let them think, say, perceive, act how they want. It is their journey and you're on your journey. I think that's how I deal with it.
Superb, superb. And Charu, over to you. Probably you can share your nuggets around what are the root causes for this body shaming, why people indulge in this kind of activities.
So I would like to relate this to a very classical industrialization theory.
Hmm.
So see what has happened, particularly starting from 19th century, when we talk about this so much of assembly line, right? So a lot
Yeah,
of time, if you look at the whole the concept of having something standardized over a period of time for it to work. So that standardization thing, which was supposed to be an industrial thing, has also moved into personal lives, right? Certain dimensions have been so much highlighted across, right? That those dimensions themselves became the standard, right? And everything beyond those dimensions was not standard. Who
Hmm.
decided that, right? So there, if you look at any particular country, any particular point, right, individuals based on the local geographies and the evolution that has happened over a period of time, people evolved in multiple ways, right? So if you look at any of the shastras before, they talk about different kind of people with different characters. Even 5,000 year, 10,000 old year Mahabharata or Ramayana would also talk about different kind of people with very distinct characteristics, right? Then why did the standardization came in? I think somewhere around when we started this whole industrialization thing, we brought in a standard on this particular part. Then comes the standard for marketing. Now, in case of a diverse population, it becomes very difficult to sell, right? So it is very difficult to sell clothes in extra small, small, medium, large, and XL, double XL, right? If you want something in between, that customization thing takes time. So getting it stitched, right? Remember, for many years we all used to get our clothes stitched, right? Now everything
Yeah.
is standardized.
Yeah.
So the moment you basically then question that whether you fit into that slim fit, right, or whether you need a normal fit, right? So we have normal fit, relaxed fit, right? So we started categorizing ourselves, and this whole categorization thing is so much now fit into even on the social standards, right? Okay, somewhere that has gone very deep into psyche of individuals. So if
Hmm.
the thing is not fitting in, we are very, very eager to categorize,
Yeah.
right? And this categorization is what typically leads to somebody who is not fitting onto this particular standard being highlighted as something different, right?
Great. Great
That
dimension.
is
Yeah.
what precisely is happening. I think that's the root cause.
Excellent, excellent, Charu. I loved the way you have narrated this one. Standardization is one of the root causes, and now let's hear from Shika. So, what's your take, Shika?
For me, Naveen, I think since it happened to me during my childhood, my classroom, my school, I think it's pure bullying.
Yeah.
And another thing I can now when I look back, right? I was a brilliant student. I always stood first in my class, right? So how do you bring Shikha down?
Hmm.
How do you take that number one position? How do you impact her, bully her, trouble her, right? So, or because they were insecure of their own position in class, they wanted to beat me. They couldn't beat me through studies. They couldn't beat me through IQ, EQ, whatever. So, okay, I mean, this is another way. So for me, I think it was bullying. It was of their because of their own security, probably low self-esteem. I would win all the prizes because I was brilliant in academics. So how do you impact this individual and take her place?
Hmm.
So low self-esteem, bullying, or insecurity.
Hmm.
I think these were the reasons that I could now map why people did it to me. I had nothing against
Yeah.
anyone, right? Just me. I was just me, the fat me, the happy fat me, happy-go-lucky child. So how do you pull her down? And that's the best way to do. And they succeeded because at that
Yeah.
tiny age, you're not able to figure out, right, that this should not impact you. Though your parents tried to help a lot. So one of those years, I couldn't secure my first position. I have some third ranker or fourth ranker in the class. Yeah. So that's the best because people are insecure about themselves, their status, their own position. They will try to bring you down.
Hmm.
For me, I think that is those are the
Wow. Thanks for sharing those. And Sangeeta, over to you.
As rightly said by Hina, Charu, and Shika, first thing I think insecurities. It's very true. Insecurities only lead to this. But now, as being an educator, I can see the children very close in many other ways. For me, the root causing is social media.
Hmm.
The social media, the way they show the beautification, which are mostly filtered photo editors. So what, adults, the teenagers, man, woman, everybody, they
Yeah.
are trying to become like that, because they don't know the background of those photos, right? So they buy very good products, beauty products, and maybe it is not affecting them, it does not have that effect what they are seeing in the social media. So social media is a very root cause of this body shaming, and it extends to that way that everybody starts hating themselves, that after following the tips given in the social media, still I'm not beautiful. I am, usually we teachers come across these kind of children, where they compare. See, looking beauty, being healthy is not a bad thing. The problem starts when you start comparing with others. And when you give a chance to others, yes, you can comment on me. I will say it's a not problem of others, is a problem with us because we have allowed it. Means that we see we are all not all that brave to give back. We have learnt now. At that age, we were not knowing. So I think we should teach the generation that what is right, what is wrong, values, everything. That if you are commenting on somebody, and if other person is commenting on you, you should then take it.
Yeah.
Then you should take it. You cannot say that I'm feeling bad. So everything I feel now overall, if I just tell you, Naveen, is the social media, the
Yeah.
way the reels, the stories affecting the minds of the teenagers, the adults, and also the older people above 70 years. I have seen that. It affects one of my friend for 15 days. Just she just stopped everything, Instagram, Facebook, and all, because my friend started comparing the relationship shown in the reels with the husband, with the friends, with the cousins. She started comparing, and she had a very bad time. But when she just came out of this social media, she settled her life first, and she's not back yet. She's only in WhatsApp.
Yeah. So,
Imagine.
yeah.
So that
In
is what.
fact, yeah, in fact, social media is something which is creating some artificial standards. So I heard someone saying not everybody's life is as beautiful as portrayed on Instagram, and not as powerful as portrayed on LinkedIn. Right? Because you'll find leader, every other person is a leader on LinkedIn, and every other person is successful on Instagram and leading so happy go lucky life kind of thing. That's a great point that you made through. And while we were discussing, suddenly a thought came through my mind, and it is all about the relationship between success and body shaming. One thing what I have observed, and again you guys can correct me if I am wrong, if people are damn rich, filthy rich, or they are highly successful, or if they are really in a powerful position, nobody cares about how fat, lean, thin, whatever they are, or which color they are. Do you agree with me?
To some
Yeah,
extent,
yeah, yeah.
Naveen, it's true.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Like Naveen, there is a famous comedian, right? Her name is Bharti Seni.
Yeah.
She's so fat,
Hmm.
right? She started as a comedian. She won that show. She's become an
Yeah.
anchor. She's a host. She dances so
Yeah.
well. And she also once I've read somewhere shared about, that I was always teased as a fat child. She's a
Yeah.
host, she's a dancer, she's a comedian, she's a winner, she's a successful mother today. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean,
Sangeeta, please go ahead.
Naveen, just one thing I would like to tell here. See, as Hina, Shika, Charu was telling about the insecurities, right?
Yeah.
Now our ecosystem or environment, whatever you say, if you appreciate somebody, people can't take it. I have seen that people think that simply they are telling me just to make me happy. Now,
Hmm.
appreciating also, people think that means what? It is so much in the social media or surrounding them, is so much negativity that if you are genuinely appreciating somebody, they are not able to take it. It's very sad, actually. It's very
Hmm.
sad, and I've experienced that, So that's what I wanted to add here, actually.
True. So with that, let's move to the next point. And here it is all about friends and family, or the support system, right? So how can this support system, or the people around us, support someone who has been body shamed, and help them heal from the emotional impact? Because from the discussion, it is purely evident that though somebody sounds or seems to be brave on the outside, there is some internal suffering, okay, that is happening, and which might stress them, and which might cause a bigger impact, right? So how can people, okay, around us, support the person that is undergoing this trauma of which has resulted out of this body shaming? What's your take? And we'll go with Shika first.
okay. Yeah, because I overcame that. And I think the first pillar of support was my own parents and my brother. The first thing that they did was I said, I'm done. And one fine day there was an outburst, a volcano at home. They asked me why I am like this and blah blah blah. I narrated all the stories at school. 6 a.m. sharp, Naveen. Get up, brush, freshen up, and jog. For 3 months, I used to jog every day at 6 a.m. I knocked off all those kilos, and my dad would run with me every
Mm.
day at 6, take me to the gymkhana and run with me. He said, you're too harsh on yourself. I said, no, I have to do it means I have to do it. I think so. Parents are the biggest support. My mom started cooking diet food for an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old child, cut out
Mm.
all the fat. So she was this great support in the kitchen who gave me all healthy stuff to eat. My dad helped me with all the exercising. And my friends in my vicinity, they were anyway supporting me. It was the school crowd which was insecure, maybe because of my academics, right? So my friends supported me in playing various games, activities. 3 4 months I had knocked off all those kilos, right?
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
friends and family are a great support. They're always with you. You have to write down actionables
Yeah.
as to what you want to do. My confidence came up, my first rank came back. And people in school were like, "What the hell is happening with you? She's going slimmer." I said, "I drink a magic potion, right? My dad has got it from his, whatever chemistry lab in the college, blah, blah, blah. I drink something magical every night before I sleep. And when I wake up, I'm like half kilo lesser every single day. Will you give it to me? Will you give it to me?" I made so many friends because of that magic potion, which never existed. This is how society is at age. Will you be friends with me? I will give you my notes. I will give you my diary. I will give you this. I will give you that. They were ready to give me everything because there were some other fat children also in the class who wanted
Mm.
to use. But there's no magic, Naveen. It happens through hard work and sweat. Run every day, rain, sun, shine, fever, cough, cold. Run every day, Monday to Sunday. Eat healthy. So that was the first thing. And in general, I think what people should do is they should just take a chill pill.
Mm.
Stop, like Sangeeta, Hina, and Sharu, everybody said, stop taking those negative remarks personally. Throw
Right.
them out of the window. Eat, sleep, drink, listen to music, go for a nature walk, make friends, indulge in some hobby. Just cut out all that nonsense from your life.
Yeah.
That's it's your life. Focus on the positives, focus on creativity, focus on channelizing your energy in the right
Hmm.
direction. Self love. Cultivate self love. I am me and I am
Yeah.
beautiful. To hell with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's me. And when you have beautiful family, when you have beautiful spouses, friends around you, what else do you need? They are the people who love you the most. Whether you're, I mean, you remember during childhood we said, "Arey, ye to kali hai, she's dark." This that is also racism.
Yeah.
But did parents sensitize children to say, अरे ये dark है, ये वो है? That is racism. अरे ये वैसा है, ऐसा है. We should stop saying all that. Today's generation, I think parents are cultivating those values. Just you should not defame or you should not pass those insulting remarks. It's about a person's existence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put fair and lovely and become fair. Even if you do that, it's your melanin, right, which generates the skin
Yeah.
color. So, I mean, a support system is a game changer. For me, my support system was my game changer. And indulging in various activities, like Sangeeta said, get off social media, man. My life is not as beautiful as my Facebook. I could be washing dishes on a Sunday because my maid did not come, and my Facebook says, a long drive in the jungle feels so good with a hot cup of coffee. That's sometimes
Yeah.
people are doing all those domestic stuff, but life on Facebook looks very good. International holidays, ye wo. If everybody's life is so good, who's going through trauma? Why there are so many mindfulness coaches, sessions, depression, anxiety? Hey, we are all so powerful on LinkedIn, like you said. We are all living nice lives on Facebook. We are all so beautiful on Insta, like Sangeeta said. So where is all this,
Yeah.
sadness, anxiety?
Mm.
We need
Great.
we need to see what we want from our own self and our own life.
Yeah.
And the support system is the biggest winning game changer. That would be my
Wonderful. So I think your parents have been a great blessing to you, and they were able to turn the table around. So which is so nice to hear. And Sangeeta, what's your take? What has been your experience with your friends and probably your parents who have been a great support system, and how they helped you navigate those kind of challenges?
Yeah, I got so much of help that every moment I'm taking a picture nowadays. And means naturally, parents come to know every ceremony function I'm just avoiding. So one day naturally I had told my elder sister, and she told to my parents, and things was getting settled. But I must say that early 20s I met my husband. He made me feel that I am very beautiful, and when I'm clicked, I am actually very beautiful. It's not about the larger size or the thinner, slimmer size. He made me feel that support, that confidence my parents gave me, but my husband, I think he has fulfilled it. He has completed it. So that way I feel, and most importantly, I think parents should appreciate each other. There is a saying, children learn what they see.
Yeah.
So when the parents appreciate each other, so the children also have that confidence in them. you
Hmm.
know that is a very true saying, that if we appreciate, means if the child sees, oh, my mother is appreciating my father, and my father is appreciating my mother whenever they go outside, the child also learn that.
Hmm.
And slowly child also develops that if we are also telling some good thing to the child accepts it, though maybe the child is getting bullied at school.
Right.
But whatever is the scene, the child will have that connection with the parents, that my parents cannot be wrong though they scold me every time. So that
Yep.
is the main thing, appreciation. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Naveen. Appreciation is very, very important, and genuine appreciation. And home is such a place, you have to make the child feel secure and loved. We parents, we will scold, we have to make it clear, we are
Yeah.
scolding, that doesn't mean that we don't love you. This is a part of your life journey. We will only build you up. You are in problem, if you're in problem, we will only solve it. Maybe we'll give you too tight slap, but we will only solve it. That confidence starts from home.
Yep.
And teachers, parents, really they play an important role in each one of our life, I feel, in everybody's
Abs-
life.
Yep.
So I think that is the
Hmm.
thing, which has to be practiced. We should practice appreciating each other in front of the children, because when
Yep.
they grow up, they are growing up seeing appreciating people. I think we should consciously practice. We should try that. You know, that's what. And I think what Shruti wrote here, I can see the message. We need more upstanders and lesser bystanders. That's
Mm.
a good
Mm.
one. What she has commented actually.
Yeah.
Sangeeta, we love
Yeah,
you too much. That's why we give you two tight slaps every day so that you grow up a nice human being. That's
exactly.
our love.
That's
Sometimes
what.
love is silent, sometimes love is violent, but it
Yes,
is love.
yes.
and
That is
and
what.
yeah, and
That is
also
very
there is a
true.
sure, and there is also a comment from Bharat. He says very true remark about social media. I think the points that Shika has summarized. Yeah, definitely. And with that, let's hear Hina's thoughts. And Hina, how has been your family and friends supported? What's your experience?
I think I'll echo what Sangeeta and Shika has already put across. It's very important to have your own people whom you think own if they accept you, and that's how I've nurtured my mind, and I'm absolutely into that practice. If my own people accept me how I am, actually it does not matter what the world thinks about me. It was my brother who, it's like coming back to the heavy arms. I never used to wear cut sleeve dresses, and it used to be a challenge that I was fond of wearing bangles, and it's like every time you go for purchasing dress, you have to think of like you're going in a trial room, and then it's not fitting well because you have to buy a bigger size that's not looking good on you. Somewhere it affects my psyche,
Yeah,
because it's like every time, do I have to deal with this for the whole life? Nobody is telling me that, but that's my self talking. That's when my brother said, why don't you start wearing cut sleeves? Let people say anything, let them, you accept yourself. And the first time I wore cut sleeves, I think I was in a better acceptance of myself, and it gives me wings because my family is standing by me. If I fall back, they are there to hold me. And whatever the world thinks, it's absolutely their problem. So जो प्राप्त है वो पर्याप्त है. I believed in that, and I've moved with that notion.
Good one, Hina. And one note by Shruti, I think she made a very valid point. I don't agree. I think she must be referring to whether success and body shaming are either directly or indirectly proportional, or if there is any correlation between them. She brought in a very important aspect about Anand Ambani is an example of how people never stop trolling whatever your social media status is, whatever your social status is in the society. Yeah, it happens, but many a times, based on my experience, we have seen many successful people, right, irrespective of their physical appearance, right? They are given utmost respect, and in many, very few rare cases, probably that is not true, but we are seeing that kind of mixed reactions across the society. And with that, let's move to Charu. Please share your experience of how you got support from friends and family.
Okay. The point that I want to bring in here is twofold here. The first thing I need to look at is that people at my age or at a bit, so I'm 46 now, need to realize that the support system that we had as kids is totally different compared to the support system that is available to the workforce coming in your way. I think one of the things that we need to be very, very mindful about is the people who are getting into the organizations today come from a completely different level of exposure compared to what we already had. So my respect, my the support system that I am looking at building up is wherein people at the managerial level or at the leadership level making a very significant attempt to ensure that the words that actually lead to body shaming are out of the vocabulary in the organization. It is very difficult on the particularly on the manufacturing side, and generally these words are very very popular and they are very casually used. Not many means. There are a lot of things that are said in Punjabi which are never meant, but they are said, right? That's how we are. But we need to be very careful about the fact that certain words are avoided at any cost. That is the first thing that we need to look at it. Second thing, what we need to look at is more is that when people are joining in our organizations, we need to look at if these people would have gone through some kind of experience and whether that is actually creating issues for them to gel into the organization. So creating that ecosystem around them wherein they feel comfortable and valued in an organization wherein they are joining is the very important thing, and that is the responsibility of the people that we are doing. The things that was already available with us, the friends with whom we could talk anything on the earth, does not really exist. The generation today has come through a very different part, particularly
Yeah.
the people who have gone through the 3 years of online course have gone through a very different level of trauma, to be honest, compared to what has happened. And that's when the whole social media, in fact, as Sangeeta was highlighting, has come into reality today. So we need to look at things from a very different perspective and be open, be attentive, and keep listening.
Yeah. Yeah, great. I think you have brought in the generational gap and what kind of differences that are existing in the previous generation versus current generation. I think that is also important to make a note of. And with that, Deepika, I would love to hear from you. What kind of support did you get?
Okay, when I started gaining weight, it was about after the delivery, so it was not seen as such. So, and to be honest, I think I'm blessed with the family, my circle of, when I say family, I mean my immediate family, my parents, my in-laws, and close friends or family friends. They never made me feel that I'm gaining. I mean, they never body shamed me. At least I felt that, and that made me confident that when somebody outside, like say social media or people at workplace, pointed out, it never actually bothered me because I was secure with my inner circle. Like till
Hmm.
they pointed out, it probably never even made me feel that I was gaining. You reach
Yeah.
a point, and then I used, I remember going to my mom's place, and in spite of me, I was on the verge of gaining month on month.
Hmm.
And it, for her, it was like always like, it's okay, no big deal. It's not just about your weight, it's about you. We love you, you still have to eat, you still have to be looked after. Feel good about yourself. Self love is very important. I think it all comes from your family, how the family makes you feel. If you feel loved, you will look at yourself in a good way. You look at the mirror and you'll not see a bloated person there. You see the good things about it.
Hmm.
So I come from a family where I felt, blessed. Nobody judged me for my body type, being a short 5 feet. So it's easy to, even if I gain 1 kilo, it shows up like you're bloated.
Hmm.
So I think I have a very strong system that ways, and that's something that really, shows up in other aspects as well, because you're not bothered about what the other person, what a colleague is saying, what a outsider neighbor is saying. It doesn't really bother you because you're secured with your inner circle.
Yeah.
And one more thing I would like to highlight, something that I take from my mom, is about self love. You have to love yourself. There's nobody going to come and teach you how to love, and you have to communicate if something is bothering you. Unless you tell people, they may not even realize that they're body shaming. You have to voice it out. You have to tell them, but be firm. Do not shy away from putting your point out. Something is that really hurting you, it's good enough to just blurt it out and get over it. Don't give them a second chance to repeat.
Yeah.
Space out. If you think that's not working, space it out. Like in my corporate job, okay, I've been in the corporate world for 15 years, and the previous manager that I was with, she kind of, in a very indirect manner, pulled at me saying that, you should buckle up. It's like, you should be firm like this, stand like this. It was kind of showing that you should look slimmer, be firm, dress up that way. I felt like, why should I be taking it? I very softly I said, "Look, this is me. I'm not going to change myself to become more presentable, whether you like
Yeah.
it or not." It did go against me. I mean, I was given during my performance review, it came strongly that you don't take the feedback. I mean, like, no, this, when it comes to me, about me, if you talk about work, I'll take it. But when it comes to me, my body type, I don't think I take it light. I don't give anybody rights to talk about my body type. I think that's something that I teach even my daughter, that, don't let anybody else bully you. You
Yeah.
are your best judge. You know what you are. Don't let somebody else judge. Like,
Yeah.
we have a major, like, she's slightly dusky and I'm fair, and we are often compared. I mean, it's a normal thing now. We don't react to it anymore. It's to that, but then it's there. It's back of mind. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, why is she dusky?" Like, she's got beautiful features. Look at the best parts about it. So I think this
Hmm.
is something that we keep have as parents. We have to instill such strong values that they should not get affected by the external factors. You look at what your immediate family is like. Give them confidence enough that they should come and talk to you, and be a good listener.
Yeah.
Listening skill is something I feel is like, a skill actually that everybody should learn to take. Listen first. You listen before reacting to anything.
Okay. Sure.
That's a total giveaway what the person is going through. The moment you start listening, you will know what your effect you're having on that person.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you for adding your perspective, and in fact,
Thank you, Naveen.
yeah, thank you. And so, in the interest of time, probably we will extend another 7 minutes. Okay, and let us conclude this with some takeaway to the audience that are watching this or that are going to watch this. Okay, and this actually is triggering a lot of interest in me to start a series of discussions, and in future we can probably identify specific threads and have a session at least once a month, or if possible once a month, or once in 2 months, or once a quarter. But the last topic that we would like to go around the table is, as a panelist and as a part of this group, what advice would you give to individuals who are struggling with body image issues and facing body shaming in their lives? And let us be crisp. Maybe I expect each one of you to answer it in roughly about 1 to 1.5 minutes. So we'll start with Charu.
My advice is that first thing is to basically accept yourself for what you are. The first challenge that I have seen or is that people tend to let others dictate their image. For many years, the fact that when we grew up, whatever the opinion of our parents was, that was the final one. And as a parents, they were always supporting, and that's why we always maintain a very positive image of ourselves compared to the rest of the world that was coming in. So there was always a backup that was happening. Now, what has happened today is that the opinion of parents is one of the opinions that you get around. So
Yeah.
everybody at any point in time has got about 20 different opinions of him or her being shared by different individuals, and out of that, the self-image is somewhere getting created. So that all the based on where those trendy or is inclining towards, that's when people start to create different images of themselves, and that's when the whole balance starts tilting in a negative way. So the first thing it's very important is to maintain your positive self. That is one.
Yep.
Second thing that you need to look for is that you need to surround yourself with right set of people.
Hmm.
It is very important for you to be sure that you are the right people and be with them, not with the people you want to or you desire to be with. There may be a good set of people with whom you want to identify yourself with or relate with, but they may not be happening. So be with the people who are right for you at that point in time, who are positive, who understand you, who want to be with you. It's very important to get aligned with those people and build it up.
Hmm.
Third thing that we need to look at is that if the things are really not working in a certain set of people and they're still getting the negative remarks for them, it is advisable for them to go to the next level. Sometimes not everything is supposed to go the way you design. So if certain set of sections, certain set of people are not really fitting into your equation, it's time to one and get your equation corrected. I think these are the three basic steps that they need to take to maintain themselves at the right energy levels.
Superb. I think those are really actionable insights, and thank you so much for sharing that, Charu. Now, Shika, I would love to hear your advice.
Sure. In addition to what Charu said, accept yourself. And if you don't want to accept yourself, like I did not want to, change yourself.
Yeah.
Stop craving, no depression, no anxiety, don't crib, don't
Hmm.
complain.
Hmm.
Get yourself to action, run those kilometers, shed it off, come back in shape and shine. That's one. Second, anybody who's doing this to you, sometimes having a heart to heart or a frank conversation with the person
Yeah.
helps. Help him understand how you feel, you know, how you feel or how he makes you feel about yourself, right? So sometimes that conversation helps. Third, yes, like he said, it is very important to align with the right set of people. Yeah, not everybody is your friend, not everybody is your enemy.
Hmm.
You may want to flock with a group of eagles, but you never know, you would be flocking better with a group of birds, right? So your right company is important. Last but not the least, sorry, I lost my thread. Huh. Last but not the least, it is you. I am me.
Hmm.
There is no other Shikha Gupta on this planet, right? There is no other Naveen Samla, no other Charu Datta, no other Hina, no other Sangeeta. We are all unique creations of God, right? We are the way we are, and we need to love ourselves and accept ourselves. So please love yourself, accept yourself. One life, live it right.
Super.
That's it.
Nice,
That was
nice,
it.
nice. So, Sangeeta, over to you.
I just want to add few things here. I think we all have inner child within us, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So I think we should take care of that inner child. That will solve all the matters. If we are depressed, if we didn't feel good for something, talk to yourself. I talk to myself a lot, and I have really gained many things out of that. We should take care of the inner child. We should not hurt our inner child. And if our inner child is hurt, we should understand that how to make it proper, and then only everything is fine. And I think every one of us should be the king or the queen, should
Hmm.
feel like a king or the queen. And I believe that a true king or a queen, they not only give respect and show love to others or being care to others, they also love themselves. They will always first love themselves, because if they are fine, their surroundings will be fine. If the king and queen is fine, the surroundings will be happy, they will prosper. That's my thing to tell all of you. So be the queen or king of your life. Let the
Fantastic.
soldiers come and attack you, you handle the soldiers, no problem.
Fantastic, Sangeeta. So,
Thank you.
Hina, what's your take?
I think my take and the path what I walk out is be in acceptance of yourself. That's
Hmm.
very important. Have that courage to see yourself in the mirror and accept your flaws and say it aloud yourself. I do this exercise genuinely, that you are beautiful. And then the mirror will reflect that, and that gets reflected to the world. So just make sure and don't do it for others. Please, please be mindful, as I mentioned, that they see themselves more than you see them. They are well aware of what is their shortcoming. You don't have to say it loud and tell them and put that fuel on fire. So keeping quiet, sometimes silence is the best thing to do, and just keep quiet. I'm sure they are doing something about it. They are dealing with it in their best way possible. Sometimes it's easy to say others, oh, you are not able to lose weight, but you don't know what is the other priority they have in life. That weight is definitely not their priority that moment. And when time will come, rest everything will go aside and weight will become the center stage. So allow them to choose their battles and you choose your battles wisely. That's very important.
Fabulous. And I thoroughly enjoyed this entire conversation. And it's time for us to hear any thoughts from audience, whoever has joined from YouTube or LinkedIn Live. If you have anything to add or if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them. We would be happy to take, and maybe we'll wait a minute or two. So we wait for the question. What I would share my experience. I told you I would share, but I didn't get a chance to share because I was so indulged in the conversation. So when I was in school, I was the shortest kid in the class. I think it continued until I was in plus two, and I was bullied by many of my classmates, my juniors, my students. But only answer that I gave to all of them is by standing first, second, or third place in the class, because that is the biggest solution, right? When once you again, I heard similar comment from one of the prominent motivational speakers in Telugu states, and he's also a playwright as well as a novelist and a director. His name is Hendamuri Virendranath, and I was fortunate to interview him. And he also shared similar story, wherein he said, he used to be the shortest kid in the class, and he was worried. And when he approached his father advised him, "Hey, don't worry about your physical appearance or whatever, just excel in something so that people will look up to you, so that you don't have to worry about your physical appearance." And that's how he has become a number one motivational speaker and a great author, a great novelist. And you'll find a lot of his motivational videos in Telugu and very few in English. But I learned a lot from that particular conversation, and that message given by his father is so profound, right? So my message would also be in a similar lines. Those of who are suffering from this kind of body shaming issues, right? We are we, right? It is one unique life that is given to us. We are God's creation, and just to resonate with what Shika has also put in, like, if possible, try to change. If not, go for it. Don't give a damn about what others are thinking about you, right? Because you probably think about certain things where you are good at. Always try to appreciate and try to focus on those things, because all the comments, right, they are not permanent and they should not lead to our happiness. We should be the pilot of our life. We should be the pilot of our happiness. That would be my 2 cents. And looks like there are not many questions from the panelists, I think, yeah, from the audience. So I think it's a time for us to conclude. So, folks, in case if you have any questions or comments, again, feel free to reach out to me or any of the panelists, either through social media, or you can drop me a note, the guiding voice for you at gmail.com. And this is one of the very first panel discussions out of many we have planned on this topic. And in addition to that, if you think some other bold or sensitive topic has to be taken, definitely I'm here to bring in experts, okay, from this pool or from other pool also. Please come back to me, and I would be happy to do that. And as we come to the end of this panel discussion, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the wonderful panelists for sharing their expertise, experiences so boldly and without any prejudice, without any fear, without worrying too much. So I appreciate all the insights, and let's take these insights we gained today to promote body positivity and create a more inclusive and accepting society. And for those of you whoever has witnessed this either on YouTube or LinkedIn or directly on Restream, thank you so much, because you guys have also taken an action to listen to this, and I'm sure these insights will have a positive impact on your family or friends who are suffering from body shaming issues, right? So let's continue to support and uplift each other, and remember, together we all can make a difference. Thank you so much once again to all the
Thank
panelists
you.
and also all the wonderful audience out there. We will see you all in the next panel discussion. And until then, take care. And if you guys haven't subscribed to the Guiding Voice podcast, I request you to subscribe to the Guiding Voice podcast, because not just the body shaming, but I've covered some sensitive elements related to LGBTQ and also infertility. And in addition to that, we have covered some the bold topics around sex education also, right? Because the purpose of the Guiding Voice is to create a difference in the community, so that each one of you who are part of this community can excel in your life and as well as in your career. And we have interviewed more than 400 guests in the span of just 3 years, 2 months, covering 30 different countries, 40 different countries, and we have listeners across 130 countries. So together we can make a lot of difference. Any of you who is watching or listening, watching, you are watching it later also, please feel free to reach out to me if you need anything, right? So thank you so much once again,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
we'll conclude here, guys. Have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Naveen.
Everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Let's
everyone.
call it a day.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.